How's it going, everybody? Greg here with RC Driver, and as you can see, I've got a Traxxas Craniac right here. But before we get into that, I need you to do me a favor. If you're new to this channel, go over to the subscribe button or the notifications button. Tap on that. I want to make sure that you get notified of all those videos coming up related to this project. Okay, so now we can move on to the deal with this thing right here. This is my son Jacob's truck. He's actually got a couple of Stampede Base trucks. What we'd love to do is just run them around in the backyard. This one is in his collection as well, and this one has actually been driven quite often. You know, it's out in the backyard and it's in grass, so it doesn't get too dirty, but it does take a beating. I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos. I do have a large stone wall in my backyard, and this truck has hit it a lot of times, and nothing is broken, which is awesome. But there's always room for improvement in my book, and that's where that pile of hop-up parts I showed you is going to come in. My son wanted a bit of a change on this truck. I think the cool factor of the Craniac is kind of worn off on him, and he wants more of a realistic looking truck. Just a little while back, I got the new Traxxas Bigfoot body, the #1 Bigfoot body, the clear version. That's this right here, and they have all the accessories to chrome it out with the grill and the roll bar and everything like that, and it comes clear, so I get to paint it the color I want to, which is great because he doesn't like blue. His brother Logan loves blue, and we got something different going on with Logan's truck. So this truck, my son Jacob, he's gonna get to pick the color. I'm not gonna go with standard blue, obviously. I'm gonna go with the color he wants. I'm sure it's gonna look awesome. Hopefully it's just not some weird brown or pink color, I don't know. But anyway, so here's the truck here. It is completely stock, and I've got all the hop-up parts, and I said to myself, you know, rather than just build the truck up and show you a finished project, why don't I show you how to install all the hop-up parts? So what I've done is I've actually broken up the hop-up parts, the option parts, into different groupings, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series of this build here. I'm going to show you how to install certain hop-ups. So if you have a Stampede Base vehicle such as this, and you're looking for some hop-ups, looking to stick with Traxxas hop-ups, I'm going to show you how to install them on this vehicle. It's going to be nice and easy. I'm going to walk you through it. Anybody should be able to do it. And while we're walking through those steps on how to install them, I'm going to tell you what they could possibly do for you, what their intended use was for. What are we waiting for? Let's get over to the bench and start this project. The option parts that I picked to install today are super easy to install. I've got the aftermarket wheelie bar, and I've got the aftermarket wheels for the wheelie bar. So these are really neat items to have if you're adding more power to your vehicle. They come with all the hardware you need to install them. You probably already have all the tools on hand, and installing these should only take you a few minutes. So let's take a quick look at these parts. Obviously, this is the wheelie bar here. It is part number 3678. And it does come with instructions and hardware on the install. We have the wheelie bar here. It is mostly assembled from the factory. And as you can see, it does come with the hardware necessary to install it. And then we have some instructions here on how to finish the assembly onto the vehicle. Now, the wheelie bar is actually constructed pretty well, and it's got this neat feature. So what you could do is adjust your wheelie bar. When you pop these clips off here, you could adjust the height of the wheelie bar. So it's got 4 different settings. So you have this setting here if you want to keep the front end planted. If you want to pull a bit more of a wheelie, you could go back to the 3rd. Even a higher wheelie, you could bring that clip all the way up to the top, and that'll allow more of a pivot when you're ripping wheelies down a straightaway. Now, Traxxas sells this aftermarket wheel kit to fit right on this wheelie bar. So let's take a closer look at this. It is part number 5186A. And it gives you the 2 wheels, which have machined aluminum wheels with rubber tires on the outside. It's got that cool Traxxas logo printed on the outside of the tires, and then it gives ball bearings for it to ride on versus the stock wheels. They're just plastic spinning on this shoulder screw right here. So now I've shredded this box trying to get this out. So hidden behind this little panel here, there was the extra shoulder screws to install the wheels. And as you can see, that is a really nice looking wheel right there. Let's mount up all the parts. So the first step here is to remove the body. Obviously, it just makes working on the truck a lot easier. And the next step is to remove the wheels. Use a 7mm nut driver to remove the wheels, or you could use a box wrench that comes with the stock Traxxas kits. With the wheels removed, now we have easier access to the screws that hold on the wheelie bar. Now, as you can see, this already has a rear cage on the transmission to protect the motor, and that is actually that same piece right here. So if you want, you could actually just remove the 4 screws that hold on the rear wheelie bar components and bolt it right onto this piece here, but I like the way this blue plastic guard looks, so I'm going to swap this out. So you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver to do that. As you can see, there's Phillips screws. If you do have a car with hex hardware on there, you'll probably need a 2mm driver. To make life a little easier, I'm going to use my power driver, and I'm just going to remove the screws that hold on this cage. Now set those screws aside and the stock cage aside, and now I could slip in the optional wheelie bar. And now you can take your new hardware to bolt up the wheelie bar. Now the longest screw goes all the way down in here. The second longest screw will go in here. And finally, the short screw will go over on this side. Now you need to tighten the hardware up a little past snug. And just like that, the wheelie bar is already installed. And the next step is to install my aftermarket wheels. But before I do that, I have a tip for you, because this has happened to me a number of times. What I like to do is put a small dot of super glue inside the wheels so they don't fall off during a high-speed run. So what I'll do is I'll just take a good quality super glue, like a Proline tire glue here, and I'll put a dot on the inside. Then I'll go to the other side, put another dot, and just slip the wheel back over. And then repeat that for the other tire. To remove the stock wheels, you're going to need a 2.5mm Allen driver. And again, I'm going to use my power driver here to remove these stock wheels. Now use your new hardware to install the wheels. What I like to do is put a bearing on the shoulder screw, put it in the wheel, get the other bearing, put it on the other side. And the new wheel simply screws right back into place where you remove the old one. Just like that, we upgraded to a wheelie bar with some really nice aftermarket wheels on there, and look how free those spin. Now it's ready to pull wheelies down the street. And as you can imagine, all you have to do is reverse the process to put your wheels back on, slide them back on the axles, reinstall the wheel nuts, and you're ready to roll again. Like I said, it's super easy to install a wheelie bar on one of these trucks. And it actually looks really cool. The next part of this project, I'm going to install the caster blocks, the steering blocks, and the rear carriers. And they're really easy to install too. We'll see you then.